Hai, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to the third episode of My Dosen-Dosenan with me, Angie. And this is the third meeting of Introduction to Linguistics, a beginner course for you, the second semester students of English department in any university. So yeah, after we have talked with the first general introduction of English linguistics, and the last meeting we have talked about phonology, and here we are on the next chapter, an introduction to morphology. So yeah, let me share my screen. So in English morphology, you will discuss how words are formed. So starting with this definition, if you want to morph something, do you still remember this cereal back when you were kids? Or you haven't heard about this before? So how to morph something? In this cereal, in this kids action cereal, these 5 robots are integrating into one to fight big monsters. They are integrating into one just like this. And this, you can look at this big robot. Yes, by uniting as one, they can fight against big monsters who destroy the town. And basically, morphology is something like combining several parts to create a word. But what are those parts? Let's begin. This is the definition of morphology. It concerns with the internal structure of words and the rules for forming words from their subparts, which are called morphemes. Let's concern with the forms of lexemes or inflection and the processes which lexemes are generated as a word formation, and patterns of the form-meaning relationship between existing words. They are used to create new words. So what are morphemes? You will find this term a lot when you are studying morphology, perhaps in the 4th semester later. So yeah, morphemes are the smallest meaningful units in a language. And they can be free morphemes, which can stand alone as words, or bound morphemes, which are attached to other morphemes. It cannot be independent. So now, before we go further, let's ponder. This is a question for us to think further in our lesson. Logical and metal, both of them are ending with "l", but does the "l" but does the "l" suffix mean something in these both words? So which one is which? Which one is merely a word, and which one is word with a suffix? Okay, now let's continue. As what I've said before, there are free morphemes and also bound morphemes. Free morphemes can function independently as words. For example, cat, book, run, smart, or any other things. And there are bound morphemes. Bound morphemes cannot stand alone and must be attached to other morphemes. If it is put alone as what it is, we have to find out what is the meaning of this. We can find out the meaning by attaching it to another word. For example, "un" as a prefix, "as" as a suffix, and "ed" as a suffix. For example, unbelievable. Oh, therefore you can understand what is meant by "un" when it is attached to the word believable. There are also prefixes, suffixes, and infixes. They are added at the beginning of a word to change its meaning to create a new word. For example, in undo or unheard. Okay, suffixes are added at the end of the word to change its meaning to create a new word. For example, in baker as in tallest. And infixes added within a word to create a new word or to change its meaning, like bloody. If it is only one single word, bloody, perhaps you will think about, oh, when you accidentally cut yourself when you are slicing a banana, and then you will be bloody. but it can create a new word like absolutely. And yeah, prefixes and suffixes are called affixes. Affixes are bond morphemes that are added to a word or modify its meaning or grammatical function. So it can create a new word that changes part of speech. Now, let's continue. There are a lot of affixes and they have a lot of meanings. You can access it here. You can use your phone to scan the QR code and you can learn them independently later. Now let's go on. We learn about inflectional and derivational morphemes. Inflectional morphemes do not change the core meaning as a part of speech of a word, like cat into cats, one singular, one plural, walk and walked, one for one and the one is for two. Derivational morphemes change the core meaning or part of speech of a word. For example, in baker, Lee in quickly, bake is a verb and a baker is a noun. And yeah, you understand it better. You are taking grammar class in this semester, aren't you? And let's learn more about word formation process. So English morphology involves various word formation processes. For example, compounding, which combine two or more words to create a new word like blackboard, basketball, and any others. You can find more when you started learning morphology next semester. And blending, combining parts of two words to create a new word. Smoke, bronze, or congratulations. I believe that you have heard of that word a lot now. And also conversion with. It is changing the part of speech of a word without any affixes. So whenever you hear a word, you have to look at the context. Is it a noun or is it a verb? For example, text. It can be a noun and a verb, depend on the context. For example, hey, text me at 6 a.m. tonight. Text me at 6 p.m. tonight. I'm afraid I will forget that thing. Okay, ask you to send a message. It's text. Or I mean, that's for verb. And for the noun one is, hey, I'm sorry, I forgot to reply your text. That's a noun. Okay. And then we can also do a back formation. We are creating a new word by removing an affix from an existing word. Television, to televise. Editor, to edit. So yeah, the word television appears earlier and then it is developed into televise. Okay, now let's continue. Okay, now let's get back to our previous question that we have pondered. Logical versus mental. Which one has an affix and which one is not? And what affix is used in that word and what is the function? Based on the QR code I shared earlier, you can check the function of the affix used in that word. So which one is the pure word, the standalone word that has no suffix? Yeah, metal is a standalone word, and logical, it contains a suffix. Okay, good. So you can search by yourself what is the function of the suffix "-ol" in logical. And yeah, that's all for our explanation today. You can continue doing your exercise and submit it in the student portal next week. Okay, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.